What's up, guys? This is Courtney from Brothers of Deconstruction here.
I'm not wearing my uniform. See, different hat, but I am.
All right, then. That was interesting. Today we're gonna bring you guys our top 5 worst Ranger list. After a couple of attempts before, we just really couldn't get the schedules together, and we had technical issues and things like that.
There were technical issues.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and
this is gonna be try to be a more streamlined video. We got notes and we're trying to be more professional. So
yep.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it.
Yep. Bumping up the volume just a little bit.
All
right, so number 5 for the top 5 worst Rangers. My number 5 is Kelsey from Lightspeed Rescue. The reason being is because she's a forgettable character and she doesn't really fit in with the rest of her group. Like, it's a rescue team, and you have like an EMT, a firefighter, a pilot. You even have somebody that works at like SeaWorld with animals underwater and things like that. And Kelsey is a extreme sports enthusiast. So, I mean, I guess if they need to save somebody hanging off a rock, she'll come in handy. But other than that, she was just a forgettable character and seemed very out of place on her team. Who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Sam from SPD, the Omega Ranger. By them not hiring an actor to play him unmorphed, like, that's really why he's on this list. Like, he could have been an interesting character, but you never see him outside of suit or as a ball of light, so there's really no development for him. You couldn't bring any of the beats from the Sentai counterpart, so any of it's like the main episodes where he will shine the brightest, you got to give that to somebody else, and it never lined up. So he's just by not putting him in hiring an actor for him and having him out of suit, you can't see the emotion in the scene. It's just like, oh, and it's a terrible voiceover too. So with the lack of not having an actor out of suit, I put Sam at number 5.
My number 4 is kind of there are 2 Rangers, but I mean, the way that they're portrayed, they kind of count as one, is Jim and Gemma from RPM. The reason why they're number 4 on the list is they're annoying. They have like this weird way of like twins finishing their sentences, but it's really unnatural and really disjointed. And they're also forgettable, which is going to be a running theme on my list. But yeah, they're annoying. It's unnatural dialogue. They were corny, unforgettable. So yeah, I don't really need to spend too much time explaining why. But yeah, they're my number 4.
It's boom time.
We love
to go.
My number 4 is Troy, the red Megaforce, Super Megaforce Ranger.
Troy.
Now, Troy is the leader of your Rangers, and you really don't make anything special about him. Like, he is really just bland. Like, you give him the dreams, like his introduction is the dreams of the Legendary War, but outside of that, you really don't develop him. And then in Super Megaforce, you're like, hey, Noah, you're going to be the keeper of the Ranger history. So if anybody needs any information about a past team, you're going to have it. And if you go back and look at our interview with Andrew Gray, he basically basically mirrors our sentiment that he wishes that he could have been more of a character, added more personality to him. But Power Ranger has its system, and it's the way that they will, have their characters portrayed. And like, he seems like an awesome dude, like talking to him.
Yeah, he does.
But you don't see that in any of his characters. Like, nothing. There is no character outside of I'm the Red Ranger. I want to do what's good, and so he's on it just because for the leader of your team, you do nothing to develop him.
Yeah. My number 3 is Carlos from In Space. Now, the reason why Carlos is number 3 on my list is because there's an episode in Space, and apparently from Turbo as well, but I didn't watch Turbo, so that doesn't matter.
It's broken. Justin, get the coach.
Okay.
Carlos, what'd you do to my leg? What'd you do to Owen? That was an illegal move. Me, but I didn't even... It wasn't illegal. Didn't even touch him. All right. Move back, everybody. Let's go.
There's an episode in Space where they're fighting a monster who can trade places with people, and he trades places with Cassie while Carlos is in mid-attack. He attacks Cassie, like severely wounds her, and he just goes about moping the entire episode. And it really put a bad taste in my mouth regarding his character. Because I really, and this is probably more so a fault of the writing and like the directing or the portrayal rather, but it was like, woe is me, like I'm gonna mope around, I don't deserve to be a Ranger. And it was like, you guys could have pulled that off so much differently where it didn't come off as annoying and like, hey, we get it, you're sad about attacking your teammate, get over it. Or go about it a different way instead of.
My number 3 is Tyzon, the Mercury Ranger from Operation Overdrive. To be the worst Ranger in Operation Overdrive is a feat that Tyzon accomplishes well. He has a somewhat interesting introduction, basically a different spin on the whole green with evil thing. Starts off under the control of somebody else, but it's reluctantly that he can't get back to his planet or whatever the hell it was. And then he becomes a Ranger and then just slowly just fades into the background. Like nothing is done with his character. Like the one episode that he gives as a character episode, he's trying to mirror Will's personality and it just doesn't work. He comes off as annoying while trying to mirror like one of the worst characters. And he was like, I want your personality. You seem cool. And then it is just not good at all.
Okay. My number 2 is going to be surprising for most people that know me.
Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger. Isn't that cool or what?
My number 2 is Justin from Turbo. Now, Justin is number 2 on this list mainly because of the movie. There's a moment in the movie where they're passing through the Bermuda Triangle. They need to combine their keys and magic and stuff like that to get safe passage through. And for some inexplicable reason, this little dipshit like loses his key and it flies across the boat behind some barrels, and he's like struggling to get the key, and it's like right in like the tips of his fingers and everything like that. And it's like, dude, stop being a fucking idiot. Like, how do you lose control of the key so easily? It was literally, if there's, like, use any example of anybody just like juggling something, trying to like get hands on it and not being able to. That was him in that moment, and it was absolutely infuriating, even as a kid watching that. I was just like, dude, you do not fuck up in this particular moment. You just don't. You just don't. Like, So yeah, it was like the movie was the main reason for him being so high on his list. And it's Justin. It's like a kid parenting with teenagers or adults rather, because I'm pretty sure they were adults by the time Turbo came around. The dynamic was different, and then it was like the whole jealousy thing. Like, hey, I could be a more competent ranger than this asshole. Like, and I'm sure most kids my age, when they saw Justin be a ranger, they probably felt the same way. But yeah, it's Justin is number two for me.
Number 2 for me is Madison, the Blue Mystic Force Ranger. They made her being bland a character trait. There's an entire episode where Nick just tells her, "Hey, you gotta stand out more. Like you're too busy hiding behind the camera, just having all these people do. Like you're living through all of your friends. Like they're having a good time. I'm going to record them having a good time, and that's me contributing to the good time. It's just like, and then they have Vita give some goddamn, just some dumbass explanation of like, she's a good person and she's actually doing stuff. It's like, no, she's not. Like they turn her into stone in that episode, and you don't even miss it.
Yeah, they're kind of
like, granted, it's early on in the series, but they still do nothing to progress her outside of kissing a frog that happens to be Daggeron and them getting their 6th Ranger. It's like, especially for how integral to the story the Maji Blue was and the Sentai. I will be comparing people to Sentai in a lot of these reviews just because, but like, the footage demands her be more of an interesting character, but she isn't.
Yeah, that was kind of similar to Gem and Gemma. At one point, they didn't appear in like 5 or 6 straight episodes, and I didn't even notice until they came back. That's how forgettable they were. My number one...
It's Rocky. Rocky.
Now, the reason why Rocky is number one... Now, in my notes, I had like the Pachinko machine episode where he got addicted to gambling and all that stuff. But really, Rocky is probably... If you look up the dictionary definition of forgettable character... Like he's probably one, or at least forgettable Power Ranger characters. He's probably the picture next to the definition, which is hilarious because he's probably most known for being forgettable. Now that I think about it, but the reason why he's on this list for me is because the Turbo movie again. Like for some. I don't know how they came up with this idea. He's in a tournament, and I'm pretty sure it's practice at that. In a like martial arts like practice tournament, whatever like that. But they're practicing in the ring. He does like a roundhouse kick, a jumping roundhouse kick, or whatever. Flies out of the ring, hurts his back, gets hospitalized. Dude, what? They literally broke film rules to injure this dude. Like, you don't shoot. You don't have, and yes, this is because this is us. You don't shoot the camera this way, have him jumping, and then all of a sudden the camera is like this way, and he flies out the ring. That's literally not physically possible. It's just not. It's just not. And he's probably the most forgettable character. And I didn't realize that Rocky is known for being the replacement Red Ranger following Justin or following Jason. But like, he doesn't do anything. He literally does nothing besides like be jealous of Jason. And it's like, and fuck Rocky because he's the reason why Justin became a Ranger. Plain and simple. That's why he's number one, because he led to Justin. Like, How do you jump out of the ring like that? It's not possible. It is not possible. And then you got this little dipshit who can't mind his business sneaking into the fucking hospital room, hiding under the bed when the rest of the Rangers come in, and they just so happen to get a call, and Zordon calls him up. I don't even know how Justin got to the damn meet. Fuck Justin and his boca.
Well, Rocky's also my number one. Courtney just went over a lot of things wrong with Rocky.
Oh, fuck his bowl cut.
Rocky's character development is non-existent. He literally fades into the back. Like, you're replacing a Red Ranger, a leader of a team. They make Tommy the leader of the Rangers. Then you replace the Red Ranger, and you get a forgettable dude, and you just he's like Taizan, just slowly fades into the back. But then I'm just going to skip to Zio, because then you actually give us some type of development.
But it's way too late by then. It is way too late by Zio. His character was ruined. They torpedoed the fuck out of his character by the time Zio came around. I'm sorry.
But they gave it was like, all right, we're going to start Rocky's his own Ranger now. So let's start moving forward. Then they bring Jason back, and he becomes jealous of Jason. You replace Jason, and now you're jealous of him? It's like, yeah, because Jason's a more interesting character than you, so of course everybody's going to be drawn to him. He has a personality. You don't, Rocky. So what do? It's like King Mondo's trying to get the Damocles sword. I don't need any help. I will fight him by myself. And in the words of my little brother, you get washed. You just get your ass handed to you doing something that you shouldn't have, you couldn't have done by yourself.
Had no business doing.
Like, they put it into your character that you're inferior. You have an inferiority complex. He's a superhero with an inferiority complex. To the point where he can get the word destroyed just to prove he's worth it.
Exactly. And also, fuck him for being the birthing of Justin as a fucking Power Ranger. Oh my god, my head hurts.
I'm going to end it right there because I will literally punch my computer.
Yeah. So that's our top 5 worst Rangers list.